Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be doing a character that's been requested by you guys quite a bit, and it's the character of Guillotine. Whoa, wait a minute. Did I say it right? Apparently not. A lot of people will say, hey Rich, you're saying it wrong. It's not Guillotine, it's Guillotine. Well, in fact, because I'm an English person, as well as a lot of people are English speaking, technically the way that you say it is in the English fashion, which is Guillotine. If you're a French national, French speaking, then you would pronounce it as Guillotine. So if you're French Canadian, then obviously you would say it in Guillotine rather than Guillotine. So that's kind of where the pronunciation. So you're both right if you say it in both fashions, but mainly if you're French. That's the kind of justification behind it. So where does the name Guillotine come from, or Guillotine come from? It's largely associated as the big metal object which comes down and slices people's heads off. It's a contraption that's most commonly known for use in the French Revolution, about late 1700s, so 1790. It's kind of the main point that people go, hey, let's execute someone by means of chopping off their heads. Yeah, we'll use a guillotine for that. But also in more kind of to date and kind of current kind of knowledge, we use it as a device for cutting paper, cutting small kind of laminated items. Mainly it kind of goes into the office, which is kind of in some ways ironic to have an implement of great destruction, but a minute kind of a more safety orientated device, which is helpful for chopping up paper. So hey, at least it's not an evil thing anymore, which is kind of, again, coincidental and ironic because we have the same thing with the character Guillotine. So let's get this video back on track and talk about the core subject. Al Ewing and Paco Medina created Guillotine for the Contest of Champions series. This was a physical comic book release and looked a bit like this. Guillotine herself not making an appearance until December 2015. Guillotine's story requires some historical context, and going back to 1793 of the days of the French Revolution, we see a Jean Demery escaping all of the persecution and general bad stuff that is happening through the catacombs. He doesn't obviously want to get his head chopped off by the guillotine, and stumbles upon a sword. And this isn't just any run-of-the-mill sword. This is a special sword that's able to communicate with a person, which is very strange, having a talking sword. And it has a cool name. It's called Le Fleur de la Mal, the flower of evil, which is odd. I've never heard of an evil flower before, but I suppose that if you look in a DC context, then you do have poison ivy. So I think, yeah, okay, fine. There can be evil flowers in the world. So what makes this sword evil? Well, it entraps Jean to sign a blood oath with it, which will mean that the sword will curse the family, the bearer, the descendants of Jean Demery, and well, it's not too great. The guillotine lineage does mean for some negative feedback from the French people, and we kind of hear about that in the future. So after all that historical context, now we establish this new person called Jeanine Sauvage, and Jeanine Sauvage is 12 years old. She's kind of like as any 12-year-old girl would be, just kind of scouting out, just like, well, I'm in this place, what's this? Oh, it's a sword. And do you know what's going to happen next? Yes, she cuts herself on the sword, which unfortunately then triggers the blood oath between the sword and Jeanine. So that is really unfortunate. She could have nearly not been the guillotine, but unfortunately she was. We then meet up with Jeanine 15 years later, and obviously she is now the established guillotine. She is the 7th person in the line as the guillotine, and understands all these negative feelings of the reputation of the guillotine, where previously they can be constituted as being bad deeds and bad things. And she wants to put that right. She wants to be a vigilante and kind of do good by the name of Guillotine and her descendants. How we find her in Marvel Contest of Champions is that she is dragged into the battle realm by a summoner, and there's kind of like whole great backstory to the summoners and Contest of Champions. It's kind of similar to the game that we play. However, though, she leaves her fiance behind, Marc Joubert, and he is an investigator. He's actually investigating the guillotine, like unbeknownst to him that his fiance, because they have this kind of love connection, is actually guillotine. So yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable and weird that is the case, but hey, you've got to have a nighttime thing to do whilst your husband's out investigating crime. So when she gets sucked into the battle realm, there is a contest going on between the Grandmaster and the Collector about getting the Isosphere. At the end of this story, Guillotine survives and is transported back to England. I know, not France, by Outlaw. Outlaw is an English version of the Punisher. He gets the Isosphere from Maestro. Maestro in turn, got it from the Collector, stole it from him. And they then get back to a normal realm. So they're in England, and they all kind of think about forming a team, which would have been great to see, like a forged team. And something that would then be great in Marvel Contest of Champions. However, for the context of this, it's kind of odd that she didn't go back to France, because, your fiance is going to be like, well, where the hell have you been for ages? And it's a very kind of like short story. There are kind of little micro stories for Guillotine, but I feel that the character does need expanding on so much more. If there's 7 lines that need to be covered, what was happening in the years between 1793 when we see the first Guillotine established to the point where we are now, or wherever the contest is actually put in. So say if it's modern day, then maybe there's about 200 to 300 years of stuff that needs to happen to Guillotine. So please make more stuff on Guillotine. We need to find out more of the past. So thanks very much for watching this video on Tell Me More About Guillotine. If you have a suggestion of another character, then please put it down in the comment section and we'll cover it. One thing that I really like is Guillotine's point in history. And this is something that's really, really fascinating for me. So I really hope that they can, as I said, continue that. So come on, guys. Let's come up with a story for Guillotine going forward from the 1700s right the way through to present day. Thanks again for watching this, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye for now.